Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, young and old, come one, come all. Tonight, we are going to witness the most anticipated podcast in the history of podcasting. For the people in attendance and the millions listening around the world, this is the moment you have all been waiting for. It's the Off Track FMX podcast. We are live. Introducing first, broadcasting out of the red corner, hailing from Seattle, Washington, standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, with what's described as a PBR dad bod. It's Jeff Shanae, also known as SMP Jeff, also known as Sister, also known as The Sister, also known as Sister. Next up, coming out of the blue corner, he hails from Renton, Washington, standing 5 feet 10 inches tall and weighing in at 200 pounds. He's the number 153 on the track and number 1 in your hearts. It's none other than Greg Crater, known around the world as See Ya Later Crater, and sometimes known as the Gregosaurus. If you want to get a hold of us, go to our website at www.offtrackfmxpodcast.com or send us an email at offtrackfmxpodcast@gmail.com. Find us on all the usual social media spots at Off Track FMX Podcast. And now, this is truly the moment you have all been waiting for. It's time! Strap in and get ready for 2 hours of podcasting gold!
Welcome to another Monday night Off Track FMX podcast. Crater.
Yes, sir.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
Getting text messages. We're
That's
beeping.
not me. That's you, man.
Yeah. I may have. Yeah. I got food coming, apparently. I'm fat, so. Anyways, I got a few things to just run by you real quick. Did you see now? Question.
Now.
Did you see now? Hasbro reveals Mr. Potato Head is now General Neutral. You can't call him Mr. Potato Head anymore. He's not Mr. Potato Head.
It's just Potato Head.
Yeah, he's the General Neutral Potato Head. Welcome to 2021.
He's Mr. Potato Head of my house.
Yeah. No, he'll always be Mr. Potato Head in my heart, house, and...
Did you know what else you can't do anymore?
What's that?
You can't call it kids in cages anymore. Because...
Yeah, they're in the backyard.
Well, that's a different kids in cages.
Okay.
I mean at the border.
Oh.
When Trump was president, it was kids in cages.
Okay.
Before that, when Obama started it, nobody talked about it. And then Trump was the bad guy because it was kids in cages, even though Obama built the cages.
It's still kids in cages. They just call it something different.
No, it's migrant facility for children now. And now it's okay again.
But it's still the cages. Right?
Renamed.
Yeah, renamed. I don't know if this is... it says at the end of this, is this fact or fiction? But in the news here, it says Demi Lovato, she's a fucking singer chick, whatever.
Lovato?
Okay, yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, you know more than I do. Comes out against gender reveal parties. There are boys with vaginas and girls with penises. I mean, okay.
I mean, there's people that want to be boys that have vaginas.
Well, you're talking to one of them.
Yeah. No, you don't have a vagina. You're
no, I do.
A boy that wants to be a girl. You wish you had a vagina.
Small penis, vagina, what do you call it?
Yeah,
You will.
yeah.
Okay. Did you hear about the other... so apparently this genius, fucking soon-to-be father, genius. Apparently, he's at home building a fucking gender reveal device.
Oh, I did. I heard about this.
It killed him.
Yes, it exploded.
Yes, it's called the unlucky lottery.
It was called building a bomb.
Yeah.
Don't build bombs when you don't know what you're doing. Yeah.
How about don't fucking do a gender reveal? I mean,
his wife probably wanted to do it, or girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah, tell her no.
I'm just saying it happens.
Put your fucking foot down. Stop it. I'm a dick. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't get it.
I'm just saying, right? I'm just gonna say, sometimes we say happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
That might be why you're so depressed.
Among many other, but yes, it's amongst the many. Did you see this? Can I call her a bitch? I don't know. This fucking chick the other day in South Beach, I guess. Woman dressed in ball gown and high heels went off-roading in South Beach, slamming into store, nearly hitting some homeless lady. And then she casually flees the scene. She fucking ordered an Uber and gets her luggage out of the back. Her car's mangled. She almost kills this homeless lady. And she's kind of hot. She's dressed in fucking, and there's people videotaping. She's just nonchalant, calls an Uber. This guy, oh my God, he's Tekashi.
Is that person under the car?
He's Tekashi's fucking brother. This guy's just in the back of the cop car,
throwing her under the bus.
Yeah, no, I got video of her. I got still images. The cop's driving him hey, is that the lady? He's oh my gosh, you guys found her. That is her. I'm you're a tattletale, motherfucker. Shut your, it doesn't involve you. Stay out of the situation. I get it. This bitch probably shouldn't have been leaving, but jeez, come on. Mind your own fucking business. How about that? All right, one more, Craig.
All right, one more.
Just
current event.
It's not a current event. This is just kind of a stupid question, I suppose, but it's a red pill, blue pill question. Red pill, you restart your life at the age of 10 with all the knowledge you have now.
Ooh.
Blue pill, you jump to 45 years old, which isn't a far jump for some of us, with $50 million in the bank. What are you doing? Blue pill?
10 years old.
You going 10 years?
Hell yeah.
All the knowledge you have.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I'd be a millionaire by the time I was 20 if I was 10. Come on.
I was thinking about it, and I'm okay, so is it all the knowledge I have, or is it all the knowledge I can act because my memory's terrible. I would like to think I could go back and make some money betting shit, but I'm yeah, I'd like to say I know the Yankees won the World Series in '86, but fuck, I don't know. My memory's.
So, are you asking whether you go back in time to when you were 10, or you just become 10 in this age? So you have
It says
Google.
You restart your life at the age of 10 with all the knowledge you have now. But yeah, what is it like?
Is it 1993 and I'm 10?
I don't. Yeah,
because if it was, I'm going to go ahead and let my parents know to invest in Microsoft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Those are easy things. But still,
but
you might
do that
have to
right
wait
away.
for. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you can tell your parents.
And then your parents,
Yeah.
Hook you up.
Yeah.
Hey,
true.
Pa, take all them savings bonds for my college and put them into the.
There's this nerdy guy named Bill Gates.
This guy named Bill. He's going to be our friend.
Let's invest in him highly.
Yeah, let's give him all the money.
Yeah. Next, there's maybe a guy, Elon Musk, or there's a few.
Yeah, get into
early
Tesla
investments.
early.
Yeah,
yeah. There's a couple.
Amazon.
You could do
early
that.
Amazon would be good. Early Bitcoin would probably be.
Bitcoin. Don't forget the password.
Yeah. Don't.
I just heard there's a guy that recovers those for a.
Yeah, it's my side hobby. I'm doing it.
1% of whatever you got, or up to whatever. Yeah. He recovers your account for you.
Yeah. Do you need help? I can help.
I didn't put any money into that crap.
That's interesting. I haven't heard that. If that guy could help these people, because there are some
people with some big money out there.
Big money that's floating around with apparently 10 password guesses.
I
some
think
people
it was
on
10%
eight or 9.
Yeah, they're stuck.
They have
10% of whatever's in there is what his pay was. Up to a certain number, it was a set amount, but.
Yeah,
still, if you can get it done.
I would say 10% regardless. I don't. Yeah, do you want your money or not? You're going to give me 10%, or you can fuck off. You got 10
17
guesses.
million in there.
You got 10 guesses. You've used 9 of them. Good luck remembering. Keep that one.
How do people have 10 passwords? I've never had 10 passwords to everything I ever have used, and I can still remember the password I used for my first email account.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh boy. News coming in. We got
apparently the bunker down here doesn't hear the gunshots that are happening upstairs.
I'm gonna have to go outside.
Yeah, that is current events.
We got
for
gunfire going on outside the house.
All right, well let's get into this show. We got a fun one from New Zealand tonight, so let's get into it.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Cool.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another Monday night Off Track FMX show. I'm your host,
Podcast.
Jeff. Podcast. What did I say?
Show.
Sorry.
Off to a good start.
A little tired today. Somebody drugged me out to work. Welcome, Crater. How you doing today?
Doing well.
With you all day, so I know, but yeah.
Yeah, nothing to complain about today for me.
Good to be back in the studio doing a show. So today's guest is a guy from Auckland, New Zealand. His name is Luke Smith. Luke, how's it going?
Hey boys, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
What was that?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said.
I said, hey, how's it going, boys? And nice to meet you.
Oh,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
nice
too.
to meet you was the accent got me on that one. I'm usually pretty good at that.
I love a good accent, but yeah, I'm definitely a little deaf and struggling. My hearing may. Oh God, no.
That's all good, boys. That's all good. I'm sure that you'll have lots of that along the way.
Yeah. I may or may not have had a wobbly pop today too. So
Wobbly pop.
yeah. Yep.
Is that a
Cerveza.
Australian thing to say? A wobbly
don't know.
pop? A New Zealand thing to say? I don't know.
That's just what I call them.
All right.
Every now and then.
I've never heard you say that.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's
Usually it's tall boys, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get into Luke Smith here. When did you find motorcycles? What got you into it?
I got into motorcycles when I was 20 years old. I moved to New Zealand from England. I was from the south coast of England, and I moved out to New Zealand to be with my family when I was 20 years old. And I watched a lot of the Crusty Demons videos, and I was kind of inspired by Seth and Deegan and all those boys, and I decided to find some plans for an FMX ramp on the internet, and I could do tricks on the BMX and stuff, so I figured why not give it a go on a motorbike.
Absolutely. So the South Coast, real quick, that's like the White Cliffs in England? White Cliffs?
In England? So just south of London, so a place called Brighton.
Okay. All right.
I got a question. So you started riding when you were 20. How old
20.
are you now? Yeah.
Well, sounds like...
When were you born?
yeah.
I'm 38 now, so I'm quite an old guy for FMX.
Yeah. I'm 44.
What we're finding is it's not really that old for FMX, apparently. There's a lot of guys that are your age or older still doing it, so...
that's good. That gives me hope still.
And you only started a mere. I mean,
right? Yeah. So obviously, you said you were jumping bicycles or something, so you had some BMX background.
Yeah. So back when I was in England, I was sponsored by a bunch of number brands for dirt jumping, and then I started racing downhill mountain biking. So
Nice.
I traveled all over Europe from when I was 14 to when I was 20, and raced for teams like GT Honda and stuff in Europe and stuff. And,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
did all the all the downhill and stuff like that. And I think I just got burnt out on that and decided to travel to the other side of the world to be with my family, and in that sense, jump on a dirt bike. New Zealand's got some beautiful landscapes, and I mean, there was not much of a better place for it,
Absolutely.
I know I talk about it a lot, but have you seen the movie Rad? Just a question.
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Okay.
Like
Good
many years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Just making sure. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Sounds like you got some good BMX / mountain bike.
Well, no. I want to go back a little. I want to hear about downhill mountain bike.
Yeah, I do too. I want to find out what he did from 1 through 20. Did you do any other sports in England? Baseball, football, rugby, whatever they have over there?
I mean, it's football, which is kind of like soccer and stuff like that. But my dad, when I was a kid, he said, "Stop running around the field and here's a bike, and
nice.
Go play on that because it's a lot cooler than running around the field."
I like your old man. Respect to your old man.
Yeah, so he got me into bikes, and once I found that, I kind of started skipping practice and going and playing on the golf course and doing some dirt jumps with some local kids. And
do you do any golfing, or were you just Do you do any golfing, or were you just
No,
ruining it with your
wrecking the golf
motorcycle?
course, jumping the bunkers
Yeah, there you
and
go.
finding jumps, building jumps.
Poached.
Yes, poaching it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Nice.
So BMX. Tell me about that. What were you doing? Contests and stuff? Doing the dirt jumping, or just
I
playing?
did for BMX. I started that when I was, I started riding BMX when I was probably 10 years old, and I just, dirt jumping and with like most kids, skate parks and all that sort of stuff. And I did a few BMX skate comps, like freestyle comps at skate parks and stuff. And then at 15 years old, I got picked up by Dirt magazine, which was a mountain bike downhill magazine in England and Europe. Mm-hmm. And they brought me on as a youth development rider and basically saw some potential in me and put me in the magazine and on the cover and stuff and then just got me out there into the downhill and I started winning races and it kind of just snowballed and took off from there.
Nice. So were you doing some of like the Junior World Cup stuff? Any of that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I was doing that sort of stuff like the downhills and then whatever they call it, the four-cross, like the bicycle supercross or whatever like that, and I raced against like Sean Palmer and Brian Lopes and those guys and stuff like that. So, some legends of the sport,
Yep.
It's cool. He was getting picked up by sponsors when he was 15. I believe I was getting picked up by the police when I was 15. So
very different scenario.
Yeah. You're much better path.
I was probably getting done for that as well. I did spend a lot of time on my bike as well, So.
But over on that side, they don't even have guns over there. You just run away.
They used to.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Yeah, well, and as well, if you're on a BMX and they're trying to trace you
trying to billy club
you can jump stairs and kind of get away. It's pretty easy, In England, there's lots of alleyways and ways to kind of run off,
Yeah. I've seen it on the internet. Once or twice.
Heard,
yeah. The old interwebs. Seen some good street thugs in England doing some damage and getting out and about and just running around like idiots.
So the downhill stuff. What was your favorite circuit? Because downhill intrigues me, man. If I hadn't gotten into been into moto the way I was, I would have gravitated toward the downhill MTB stuff.
Probably one of my most favorite courses to ride is if they still have it on the World Cup scene today. It's one of the first few rounds of the World Cup, like the World Series of the World Cup is a place called Wjat in France, Leger.
Oh yeah.
Man, that course is so fast. It's you're doing probably 60 miles an hour on a push bike.
Right.
And it's not how much you want to pedal. It's how much you want to let your brakes go and hang on. And it's kind of like moto. As soon as you let your brakes go, your bike's hauling ass, and you've got jumps and all kinds of stuff. So
shit's coming at you quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as well, you don't want to be hitting a tree at that speed,
Nope.
No, they're amazingly solid.
Like Sonny Bono.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
He hit a tree.
He did.
Bye-bye Bono.
Yeah.
Bye-bye in a box.
No, that's cool.
What kind of downhill bike were you riding? Did you say did you have a bike sponsor?
I rode for a brand called GT Bicycles, so an American brand.
Yeah.
GT, well, they're an international world brand,
Started by Gary Turner.
I don't know if you've ever. Yeah, I rode. So I was on I suppose I was on the development team, but he was more of the pro rider. Steve Peake, one of the world riders.
Yeah.
He's world champion number of times. So here, I used to ride against those boys and with those guys. So they were friends of mine, and I used to travel around and.
Yeah, how much traveling did you do on the mountain bike? Have you ever ridden at Whistler up in Canada?
No. I was so young then.
Yeah.
I'd only really do Europe. I never got to go out to the States and ride my push bike or
understandable
or anything like that, or I'd go out to Whistler. I would have liked to, but I was still very young then.
Yeah. Yeah, that place is Whistler's pretty close to us. I've been up there snowboarding, skiing a million times, but I haven't yet to been up there on a mountain bike. I've been up there in the summertime just for partying or whatever. But yeah, I've heard it's an amazing. Yeah, you've been up there riding.
I've been up there. It was a bachelor party, so I might have missed the first day.
Yeah, understandable. It happens.
But
I remember
the 2 days of riding, like I didn't get to see. Only the lower half of the mountain was open, and I still didn't get to see probably 3/4 of just the lower half in 2 days.
I love that.
Like,
place.
It was just amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was unreal how many trails they had, and just
the city or the shops, the town is just so cool.
Itself,
the restaurants, bars, the night. It's just a fun place, man.
The village.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome.
It's good life.
Yeah, a lot of Australians actually.
Yeah,
lots of Australians hang out in Whistler for some reason.
Used to be a lot of.
I've had a couple of friends from here, New Zealand. Like one of my friends that used to live with me. He's been over there. He did a season over there mountain biking and riding downhill in the summer over there. So he liked it,
Yeah.
Canada apparently is very open border to Australians for whatever reason. Visas are easy.
Yeah. I've been out to Canada riding my dirt bike, but I've never been out there on a mountain bike,
Right.
Nice.
If you're ever there and you get the chance, go rent a bike and go ride Whistler. It's pretty awesome.
Oh, sick. Cool. Yeah, I will do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So,
all right.
how long were you sponsored by GT, or was that your only bike sponsor? That's a legit good bike sponsor.
I was with a few other brands, like a number of years. I was with another brand called BMR Bike. Towards the end of my mountain biking sort of era with jumping and stuff like that, and I was with them for probably 3-4 years, and then to be honest, I just got burnt out on it, and I just wanted to change, and I decided to jump on a motorbike.
What kind of what mountain bike? What do they call them? Kits, gear, whatever. What attire were you wearing, and what kind of helmet? What?
I was sponsored by Fox Europe, so I was.
Oh, nice.
I rocked all Fox 360 motocross gear, and and basically the same stuff that all the guys are running in moto, I was running that on a mountain bike because
there wasn't. I mean, that long ago, there wasn't really like mountain bike specific.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Really.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Not too much anyway. But yeah, all right. Let's talk FMX. So you get tired of mountain bikes and you decide to go ride some moto
moves to New Zealand to be with the family.
I jumped on a plane and traveled to New Zealand to be with my family, and landed here and decided to buy a dirt bike, and I went into a local shop and said, hey, I've just moved here from England, I want to get into freestyle and this is what I want to do, and they kind of didn't really give me the time of day, and they that's quite arrogant at the time, and thought, hey, who's this kid from England? We've got all these places to ride, but you can't come ride. He was kind of a bit of a dick, really, to be honest, and so I found the plans on the internet and built myself this ramp, which is a normal 9.1 FMX ramp, and I found a local farmer, and let me lease some land off him. So he was nice enough to build me a down ramp at his property, and for a fee a week, and I remember this ramp turning up. Me and my dad picked it up from the local welder and the engineer down the road, and we were like, "What the hell?" This thing must have built it wrong.
Must have built it wrong.
And I remember looking at this moto ramp and being like, "Fuck me, this ramp is 3 meters high."
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to the moon off that thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Man, this has got to be wrong," And then I was like, "Well, fuck, I've just bought it now, so I'm going to have to jump it."
That's what I got.
Yeah.
But yeah, I once I got jumping it, I was blown away by how much hang time in the air that you had. From getting used to doing tricks on a BMX or a mountain bike, you've got pedals that move and you got split second timing. Whereas the moto, once you get used to it, the thing stays. It floats with you, and you let go of it, and
you got a little suspension
you can float along with it.
Yeah.
So pretty much I was working a normal job and hating it, but I would rush home from work every day and race out to where this land was that I was leasing and ride my bike pretty much until it ran out of fuel every day. And I started pestering the crusty demons and back then, before social media, 10 years ago or 15 years ago now, like 2002 it would have been, hounding them, emailing them every day, being like, hey, I've learned this seat grab today, or I've learned this trick, or I've learned this trick, and never, ever had a reply, or never anything. And then maybe it got like a year, like I'd been emailing them for a year, like every other day for a year.
Tenacious.
And I got an email reply, funny enough.
They're like, leave us alone.
You tested us for a year.
That's cool, though.
Quite annoying, but you've progressed a lot. So, hey, we're coming to New Zealand in March the following year, and we would like to give you the opportunity to ride in the pool with our Crusty Demons riders.
So, dude, how good was that email?
Yeah.
All those boys were coming to it, and I was kind of like, at first I was like, is this a fake email?
My friends are fucking with me.
Somebody found this out.
Yeah. But it wasn't, so 6 months later, I turned up at Western Springs, and I was sitting in a writer's room with Twitch, Deegan, Ronnie Five.
Is this your first contest you ever done?
All the boys that I'd looked up to, and I was going to be riding in the shows,
Is that the first show you ever did?
That's that. So I did a show 2 weeks before at a local, like speedway sort of thing, with actually Levi Sherwood. Levi Sherwood was on a 65.
Oh God.
So he was like, I think he was 7 years old or 8 years old on a 65.
Yeah.
And then me and him wrote this demo at like 60-foot gap, I think, in front of maybe 500 people.
Like, wait, he's jumping 10-year-old.
He's jumping a 60-foot gap
on a 65 or 85.
He was on a 65. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's actually super impressive, though.
He's
that's funny. So real quick, I want to go back real quick.
Yeah,
I got questions
that's
too.
What I mean, so that was pretty mind blowing to see that, and it was cool to be writing a demo in front of people, and at the end of it, I was pretty pumped to be able to get paid, some money.
Yeah, money's good.
Riding my dirt bike, and then like I say, the week after I got to ride for Crusty Demons. I mean, I turned up at practice that week, and obviously got to sit in the writers' room with some of the guys that I've watched on DVDs, and it kind of seemed pretty surreal.
Right.
But yeah, what was actually quite funny that week, so we went out and did an autograph session at a local shopping mall.
Yeah.
And there was probably 5,000 people that turned up.
Wow.
And one of the people that come to get our autograph was that same guy that I met in the bike shop the first day that I met.
Oh, the dickhead.
He didn't give me the time of day. And he was like, hey, buddy, how's it going? And I was like, I remember you. You would give me the time of day, And I was sitting next to Bubba, I think, at the time, and I told Bubba that this was the guy that was calling me out and not really, just being a dick to me in the shop and wouldn't give me the time of day. And now, I was on the other side of the fence, and Bubba called him out for being a dipshit.
That's
no one
funny
actually
shit.
signed the autograph.
That's a good feeling,
He
though.
all signed autograph for him with his friend, but he got told to beat it, which is quite
That's funny.
Kick rocks, kid.
So real quick, I want to go back to, you said you leave you leave England to be with your family.
Yeah.
So were you from New Zealand originally?
No. My parents just decided my dad's old business partner had moved to New Zealand, and they thought it was a better life, and my parents decided one day that they were going to move to New Zealand too.
How long were they there? How long were they there before you traveled to meet them? Yeah.
They moved when I was 14 years old, and so I traveled out when I was 20. So I was nearly 20, so 19, so 5 years.
So at 14, where are you living as a 14-year-old in England without your parents?
In America, they don't let that shit fly.
I lived with my dad and granddad at first for 6 months, and then they kicked me out, and I lived by myself. So I lived in a tower block of flats by myself.
Nice.
So a lot of the reason why I moved from England to New Zealand was I got in a lot of trouble as a kid.
By yourself as a kid, it does happen. Right? Yeah, I've found out. Yeah. It's easy to go astray.
My friends went to prison, so I decided to have a fresh start in life and move to New Zealand.
Yeah, prison's
so
not
then,
you won't go
so
there.
then my other question is, you decide, okay, I'm a mountain bike guy and I'm going to go ride moto. Had you been riding a motorcycle in England at all? Had you ever ridden?
No. No.
So I've seen bicycle guys switch to moto and just struggle horribly. So how did that go for you? You just got a bike and got a ramp and just started figuring it out?
I could do tricks on it, no worries. Like, I just had to learn to ride the gears and the clutch and basically figure out what was going on.
Right.
Like, I mean,
which can be tricky for some.
No, that's the thing. Like, mountain bike, for me personally, watching bicycle guys come to switch to moto, because I was always a moto guy and I rode bicycles as a kid all the way.
But you're way better at moto than you are at. But you're good at BMX. But you're way better at moto.
I was a moto guy, and that's where I spent my time. But watching BMX guys, because I raced BMX too, and I watched these racer guys come over to moto at times.
Yeah. And
they always like, they struggle with like always wheeling. Like, everything's like the front wheel high off a ramp, which actually isn't a bad thing at all for a freestyle guy, because what I learned is that's better than nosed in as a freestyle guy. But
yeah,
I mean, that transition wasn't too terrible for you.
Like, no, my whole mountain bike career and BMX career, like any photo that I look back on that I've got in magazines, like a lot of the captions were Luke Smith is bicycle motocross. Like they were like, every comment was me quoting on how my style was moto.
Oh, okay.
And I had a motocross kind of style or whatever that. So maybe that was that. And I jumped on a dirt bike and I just took to it like a duck to water. It was it was just like a natural progression for me, and it just seemed
it's what was missing the whole time.
Yeah, good for you. I don't think that's the normal case.
From not doing it to a year later being able to ride for the Crusty Demons and never riding a dirt bike
that's
before.
Seriously impressive.
I mean, I picked it up really quick, you know?
Yeah, the bike. I mean, that is insane.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
I mean, granted, you were a mountain bike downhill.
I mean, it kind of just happened overnight, you know?
Yeah,
in some sense.
Literally. I have a question. So you said, what was the stupid job you had that you said, you were just dreading going to?
Oh, well, I was working as a roofer. So in New Zealand, it's iron roofing.
Yep.
It's sheet iron. And the guy that I worked for was a dick. He hated motorbikes. And he was like, you need to get stop riding that thing and focus on this, because this is your career and you're never going to fucking, you're going to work for me for fucking, like, he was just a dick. And I was just, I was young. And
I'm not a slave. You don't own me.
I was just like, man, like, I just, all I wanted to do was, like, that's all I thought about all day was just leaving and riding my dirt bike. And I couldn't wait for the day that I could tell him to poke his jaw off his ass and that was that. And one day I got that happy, like, one day I could quite happily turn around and be like, hey, mate, I'm not coming into work tomorrow. I've just signed the Crusty Demons.
Or the next day, or the next day, or the next day.
Yeah. So pretty much that's me full time now, buddy.
Good.
So
good deal.
I'm out. That felt pretty sweet.
Another question. So what was, I don't think you mentioned the first bike you got. What was the first bike? Like, what brand, what size, what was what'd you go with? 2-stroke, 4-stroke?
I bought a YZ 250 straight off the bat. Like,
what year was it?
What year was it? 2001.
Nice.
So it was a new bike.
It was a 2001, and it was in. I think I was in 2002 or something like that. So it was a year old. So it was
brand new.
It was pretty new. So what I did was I saved up a bunch of the money that I was making through mountain biking for when I moved to New Zealand, and pretty much that was it. So when I got to New Zealand, I had some funds from mountain biking, because I'd quit my riding career over there, and I was like, well, I'm going to put everything I've got into moto, and I'll give it a fucking good year of it or two, and hopefully try and make a jump.
Lots of people don't make it in 2 years. Lots of people
put in a decade.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
Oh man, I didn't quite get there.
Or maybe I can do this now. Like, that's funny. Another question.
I suppose I just kind of.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I suppose I'm just one of those. I don't know. I've always been one of those things that when I say something out loud, or when I set myself to it, I've called myself out. So I've got to go make it happen now.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm going to fucking.
I appreciate that. I get it.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
What was what was so when you pick up this massive monstrosity of a ramp
200-pound.
At the fab shop.
Talk about the ramp, all right.
Yeah. No, when you see this thing and you have to take it home, and the farmers built you a dirt landing or whatnot, what was the first ramp gap you set? Like, what'd you go with? I mean,
I think I pushed it in close to like maybe. I think it was only at like 20 or 30 feet, like real
understandable,
close, like,
understandable. Yeah, I would too. I mean,
understandable, because I was like, man, I'm gonna fucking shoot off this thing, and I was still getting used to riding a wjat, which was
getting used to riding a dirt bike in general.
So like, yeah. So,
Fuck.
and I remember jumping off it, like, and so like for that first bunch of time, I was jumping the ramp, and I used to hit the ramp in like fourth gear. Like I used to just ride up it.
Holy Jesus! That's like great.
I lost it.
That's like my boy here, Crater. That's what he does.
It was like basically like, there was engine torque, and it wasn't until I started going and riding with some other FMX riders. Like I went to a friend's place, a guy called Nick Franklin. He was a Red Bull athlete and travelled all over Europe and from New Zealand as well. And I went and rode with him and a couple of the other New Zealand freestyle guys, and they were like, how the fuck do you hit the ramp in that gear? Why are you hitting it in that gear? I was like, well, that's all I know. I don't know any different. You know, like I've had no one teach me. I just kind of...
You're like, I just click up until I'm in that gear. It's pretty easy. Like, what, you guys can't shift up three times?
I just ride until it feels comfortable. And they were like, man, you know, to jump 75 feet, we hit in second gear. So that
not even full throttle.
Not even full throttle, and I was like, wow, I'd take like fucking twice the amount of run up, and I'd hit it in fourth gear and just roll off the ramp.
But hey, you didn't know no better. I mean,
I turned up at his place, and he had a short run up, and I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm going to be able to jump that jump in fourth gear.
How do you do this?
Yeah. Where do we start from?
Yeah. So once I did that, then those boys started getting me. You know, I jumped in second gear for the first time, and I scared the hell out of myself the first time I jumped it. But
a little more poppy.
Then once I started realizing that once you're in second gear, you're not going to go long, or you're not going to come short, because once you hit that mark and that speed every time in the gear, the engine sounds, the bike's going to land exactly where you want it to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe not every time, but that's what we like to hope, the majority.
The bike, you know?
So are you still a Fox guy?
No, I'm not. I was with Fox and Shift for probably 10 years.
Even with Moto?
In Moto gear, yeah. Still, I rode for Shift New Zealand and Australia for 10 years. But I ride 7. I'm wearing the 7 gear currently at the moment.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
What do you think about that stuff? Good gear?
I like the look of that gear. Yeah, I think it's good gear. Like it's. I still love the Fox stuff.
I just supported JS7 like 20 minutes ago.
yeah. I know. As I say, I just like the look of that gear, and it's, you know, I like stuff that not a lot of people have. You know, and in New Zealand, there's not a lot of people that run that gear. You know, I quite like that. It's different. You know.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to be like everyone else.
No, exactly. I want to stand out from the crowd. I don't want to be fucking like everybody else, you know. I don't want to turn up at the track and, you know, 70 other people have got the same set of gear as me, you know.
Yeah. All right, so we have to jump back a little bit. I'm trying to wrap my head around all this. So you're just, I mean, obviously a skilled athlete, but you moved to New Zealand. You're watching these crusty movies for whatever 5 years or whatever it is.
5 years, 1 year, dude.
No, he probably watched them before.
I was watching the videos before, like when I raced mountain bikes. And stuff like that. The crusty DVDs were pretty big in like the early 2000s, you know.
But like you're looking up to these people, they're like your idols or whatnot. I mean, and then you get a bike, and a year later, like after emailing you, I mean, that just had to be mind blowing. Like that had to be the coolest feeling to go just hang out with it. Not only just hang out, you're riding the show with them, like.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was pretty pumped to be riding with them and practicing with them. And I mean, I suppose, like, now I look at it like with Nate Adams and Mad Mike Jones and all those boys that were back in the shows back then. You know, Bilko, Cam Sinclair.
Yep.
Matt Schubring, all those boys. So they, you know, like, to be at that then, it was you can't look up to them no more. In some sense, like I kind of figured the more I rode with them, the more I kind of wanted to, I see one of them doing.
They went from your idols to your rivals.
I wanted to. Yeah, you start wanting to try go one better than them, and that. I mean, at early 20s, that's how I was. I was chasing
full of
it,
piss and vinegar.
Well, I'm sorry, but to get on a motorcycle and within a year be able to go, well, I can ride with these guys now, has to be mentally.
It was pretty sick,
Yeah, mentally though, it's got you got to be pretty strong mentally to go. Like, I'm going to learn these things and then go do it quickly enough to, like I say, within a year you're riding at this level, and maybe you're not like 100% at that level that the top guys are at, but within a year, I mean, these guys have been doing this for 15 years.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sure. Yeah, his bike skills might not have been the best, but he's jumping right. It's a year. And he's with the militia in doing a crusty show in his hometown. I mean,
my whole thing is bike skills. Again, being a guy that rode both a lot.
Yep.
Understanding braking, front and rear brakes, and all that, like that comes from mountain bike. You have to be really precise with mountain bike braking because you don't have nearly the tire, you don't have the grip, you don't have all the stuff.
Suspension, even. I mean,
right.
Well, and as well, like with BMX, as you know, if you don't land smooth and dirt jumping on a BMX, you go home with sore wrists and ankles because you've got no suspension.
Well, and you don't get to do the next jump.
A lot of that makes you, and you can't do the next jump. A lot of that, makes you, get a lot of bike skill from
precision,
that. Precision,
just timing. Just the timing aspect of it to me was the most beneficial side of riding a bicycle.
To be able to boost those trails and, get your bike into where you want it to go, you've got to be able to pump sections and really be able to throw your body weight around to make the bike move to. And I kind of just transferred that to moto,
Yep.
And apparently. I mean,
very well, very quickly.
Is weller a word? A lot weller than. I'm kidding, Crater. I'm kidding. A lot more proficient than a lot of other people. Yeah.
That is a
I'm coming out with
word
words
right
tonight.
Man.
I said another word tonight, I think, in the car or something that was a pretty good one. I can't remember what it was now, but yeah. I'm using my vocabulary.
Must have been a good one.
From BHS 95.
I was going to say from military school, they really beat a few of those words into your head.
Yeah. True story. True fucking story. Oh boy! So okay, we're a year in. We've done our.
You're doing your first show here with the MM.
We're on the Y Zinger 250. 01. Loving the bike. Do you like the
YZ?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, like it was. It was
not that you had a lot to compare it to, but I mean. Fuck, it's a new bike.
I had a lot to compare it to. All I had to do was compare it to something that I had to pedal.
Yeah, exactly.
And I loved being able to twist the throttle and not having to pedal the fucking thing,
Yeah. Did you start to get fat by any chance? It happens. I mean, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. So so you do this show with the guys down in your hometown.
So it was the first person show in New Zealand, and that went really well. And
how many people were there? What stadium was it in?
42,000 people there.
That's a lot.
Oh no, 38,000 people for that first show in Auckland, New Zealand. So,
I have a question. Did they have like the night of jumps there? Did they have a distance jumping?
That's the next show that I rode. So what happened was
perfect.
I impressed them. How I rode, and they wanted me to pretty much. They offered me to join the Crusty Demons after that first Auckland show.
Okay, best case scenario.
Have you ever been to Australia? And I was like, no, never been to Australia before, but And they're like, okay, cool. Well, you're jumping on the plane in I think 3 weeks, and you're coming to Australia for the Australian tour. And the first show's in Brisbane, and it's the night of jump. And that's where Larry Linkoggle, Robbie Madison, and Trigger Gunn did the world record.
Yep.
Robbie did it on a 125, and he also did the 250 with the biggest trip. And then we rode the show there in Brisbane.
Was my buddy was Capes there that night or no?
I don't think so.
Pardon?
Was Ryan Capes there that night, or was that a different one? I know they've done a few of them. He was at a few of them.
That was the other one. Ryan Capes was at the one a bit further on.
It was Enslow, Capes, and...
Yeah, that was when we did it in Melbourne. I rode that show too, but that was in Melbourne.
And Morrison did a few of them too. Even Colin Morrison did a few of those big ass jump things.
Yeah. He did. He didn't do like the one that Ryan Capes did was just Maddo. Seth broke the 300 mark.
Yep. Yeah. The night Seth went 300. Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So how much?
Cam Sinclair set the world record on a backflip. He did a 150-foot backflip at that show, and
you had no interest in trying to do to pull the trigger on a 300 or something.
I mean,
it's a different breed.
You know, when you stand at the ramp and you watch Robbie hitting the thing wide open,
100+ miles an hour.
You're standing at the takeoff and he's hitting the thing at like 100+ miles an hour, and he's going 30 something, 300. And
TV does not justify it.
No.
Yeah, TV. Yeah,
he was doing that in practice, and it was that windy. And I remember in the meeting before the show, and Ryan Capes was like, "I'm the world record holder. I'm going last." And Robbie was like, "Well, no, it's Australia. I want to go last." And
valid point.
They're having a bit of an argument about it, and I think Robbie even said to him, "Hey, look, I'm going to get on my bike, and I'm going to go so far in practice that you don't even want to get on your bike." And he did. He went like 328 feet. I think the record. He broke the record by heaps in practice, and then he went and did it in the show. And the wind was like crazy. It was crazy gusts of like crosswinds and things, and I was scared to even jump 75 feet, let alone 300 and something.
Right.
Yeah, higher and further, and the
you're definitely flying a bike about those distances, and to watch them there in person and to see how high and far they go, it's fucking scary, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been there and done that, and it is scary.
How much do you go? Like you go from obviously working for a living
roofing,
doing roofing, and then this show pops up and they hire you. What is your salary all of a sudden?
Yeah.
My salary changed to, so my I was working for, like a weekly salary all week, 40-hour week, lifting iron around and hating it.
Doing
so
bullshit.
Then I would go in, overnight I went into writing shows where I was pretty much getting 3-4 times my weekly salary to ride a dirt bike for one night,
Right.
And signing titties and having beers and
enjoying
signing
life.
titties and hanging out at after parties and wrecking rental cars and hotels and
there you go.
And pretty much.
Let's talk. How many rental cars have you wrecked? Let's talk about it. Allegedly, we don't have to. These are alleged stories.
Had Jimmy Blaze, the snowmobile guy back in the day when we toured together. Me and him had I think we wrecked. Well, we would have wrecked a good 10 or 12 rental cars, and like Krusty's had to change their name a number of times to Hertz and Avis and things like that. Wouldn't let us rental cars anymore.
Yep.
Because we used to jump them and ram each other, and we ripped the door off one, and
it happens.
Jimmy Blaze fully wrecked one and had to buy one. He had to go to court and buy one, like a new rental car for like $46,000 or something.
Fucking Judge Judy told him to fucking pay up.
Oh God.
Oh,
yeah, pretty much.
It
Whoops.
was probably Mr. Wapner back then, Judge Wapner.
But that's one thing. I was glad I was in that era. Like we were in that era where where freestyle motocross was all black bikes and basically getting drunk and wrecking shit.
Fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It was rock and roll.
It was.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was a bunch of savage. I mean, the older generation. I mean, are just savages.
Right.
Like they're. I mean, I know and hung out with a lot of them, and yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what Travis Cady said last night. We were talking to him, and he said something about the hair metal guys from the '80s kind of passed the torch to the freestyle motocross guys. Like they kept the party going.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. They just passed us the torch, and we took it and ran with it. Like we're way cooler. We do it with gas and 2 wheels, and
right.
some high flying activities, and then after
There's some different high flying activities.
taking your women and taking your booze and drugs and going to the club.
Yeah.
Oh boy, good wreck and rental car stories. I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. All right, so
I mean,
you're traveling. You go to Australia for the first time with the Krusty Boys. I mean, that had to be a good time. How long were you there on the tour? What stops did you? How many stops did they have?
That was very short lived. So I ended up breaking my humerus bone in the arm, which is the top part of your arm.
That's funny.
It's not funny.
So then I was out for 8 months. So what happened was
that's humorous.
In practice, In practice, I was like, my throttle tube seemed loose.
Oh,
and
God.
I'd come back and I said to the mechanic, hey, like...
yeah, you have to do maintenance on the bikes.
I know it's a brand new bike, but it feels like my grip's loose. Can you check the wire on it or something like that? It feels like it's not right. And, back then we were on CR250s, like that's when CR250s was new still. You could get a new bike. And someone must have dropped it because it had broke the throttle tube, but it was still hanging on because I found that out maybe on 2 jumps later because I did you do a 9 o'clock knack but an Indian Air. And I used to whip them out quite far and really throw my body off away from the bike. And when I got to full extension and about to pull myself back on, as I pulled myself back on, the throttle tube come off in my hand and I started floating away from the bike.
Oh, that's got to be a terrible feeling.
I remember looking at the ramp behind me and I think Mad Mike Jones and Bilko come off the ramp behind me. And
so you're getting landed on by somebody probably.
What are you landing on? Is it dirt or metal?
Yeah, I hit the ground pretty hard and ragdolled, and I got up and my arm was sort of wrapped around my head, and the bone had come out the side of my arm, and it was a nice compound fracture, and that was me. I was off to hospital for a week, so with a couple of operations.
Was the landing dirt or metal?
No, it was a metal landing, but in a speedway ground, so because obviously you had the world record jump.
Yeah.
It was,
okay.
I think it was concrete ground, it was speedway track, so it was rock hard.
Yeah. And the metal landings are rock hard too. At least dirt. I mean, it's not very forgiving, but I mean, it's a little better.
It's so much different to land on the dirt.
Yeah.
Hang on. I spent the next few days in hospital, and I got to luckily enough come out of hospital before the world record show and got to watch Matto and those boys do the world records and watch the show. But unfortunately, I had a broken arm and
just high as shit on pain pills.
Miss out on the rest of the tour and go sit at home for 8 months and think about that was one of my first injuries on a dirt bike and surgeries anyway. And so that kind of sucks. But
did I hear you say? 8 months. Did I hear you say when you went to Australia, did you not bring your YZ? Did you get a bike in Australia, and was it a CR? Did you?
They were Honda.
Yeah. After I switched to Honda, so I rode the new so from riding my YZ, after signing with Krusties, I got picked up by a local bike shop that rode.
Oh, good.
That sponsored me with Honda. They gave me a new Honda CR250, so I jumped brands.
Okay.
And went to Honda.
Did you like it better? Worse?
So I rode the new deal.
Originally, what'd you think?
Yeah, I rode just as, I suppose, just as good. I mean, or if not better, I liked it,
Yep.
So then when I got to Australia, they obviously, what bike do you ride? And I was like, well, I want a Honda CR250, and that's what they got me. And so I had a brand new bike when I got there, ready for me to go, and I put my parts on it, and then I now know, after that injury, I started traveling with an aluminium throttle tube with me.
There you go. Smart kid.
The things we pack in our bags.
Every show I went to, I always took an aluminium throttle tube with me just for my peace of mind that the throttle tube wasn't going to come off my hand again.
Yep.
10-4. So, I mean, your humerus injury, did you have any other previous injuries from your early days of, we didn't really talk about that. We like to get an injury history story too. Was there anything from the biking days?
Really. When I was practicing, when I was getting into it, I broke my ankle practicing. I come up short on a jump and broke my ankle, and that was kind of
No suspension, that'll do it.
Right.
Stitches and things like that, but nothing really previous, and then when I jumped on a moto and obviously that throttle tube come off, you're falling from a long way in the air.
Yeah, it's a terrible feeling with a fucking tube in your hand, and you're like, what is happening? You're like, I got two guys behind me, I have a tube in my hand, and I'm fucked. Yeah, there's nothing I can do right now.
That's it.
And there's a lot of time to think about it as you're flying. Yeah, you're like, I'm going to be visiting a hospital in a foreign country that I've never been to.
This is what we're doing now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, that kind of sucks. But hey, that was.
Did they take care of you good in that Australian hospital? Did they? I mean, obviously they got you out in time to see the jump show. So.
Yeah, they looked after me and they got me out in time to see the show, and I got to go, witness the show and see the world record jump.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and see history on because
100%.
That was the first sort of time.
Fuck yeah.
They were going for those big jumps.
You were there.
So it was pretty cool.
And a part of it, it sucks you had to wreck. I mean, but hey. So now
but hey, that's what happens, and.
But you met all the boys. I mean, they know you. They know you're a good rider. They saw you go for it. They saw you crash. I mean, they had to support you in some aspects. I'm sure at least you got some respect from the guys. So, but obviously you had some time off. You had some time off after that.
And I got to fly home with Seth. So me and him flew back from Brisbane to Auckland, New Zealand, because he was flying back to LA and he had a broken foot as well.
Okay.
So me and him, two broken guys, got to sit next to each other on the plane home and fly back to New Zealand, and then he carried on to LA afterwards, and I come home to New Zealand and rested for 8 months.
10-4. So you got an 8-month vacation. What are you doing in those eight months? Just waiting to get back on a bike, or?
Going mad, just waiting to get on my bike and watching DVDs and
trying to heal as best you can. Yep.
Trying to heal as good as I could, and basically I was just hanging to get back on my dirt bike again, and get back out there and ride the next tour,
Yeah. So where'd you go from there? What was the next? I'm sure during those 8 months too, you were working on your emailing people and trying to get more shows and yada yada, keep in contact with everybody.
Oh, kind of, yeah. So after that, I jumped back on a bike and practicing again, and then the Crusty guys said, hey, we've got another tour going on in Australia, because Australia was starting to blow up, and this time we're doing the Outback. So we toured through the Outback of Australia, and so we...
Who was on that tour?
Who was on it? It would have been Nate Adams, Adam Jones, John Getter, the ATV guy, Mike Mason...
Nice.
Bilko, Cam Sinclair, Matt Schubering, Joel Bouchin.
That's a lot of guys.
Steve Minnie.
They have a
lot of those guys. Yeah.
So how many people are showing up to these events in the Outback? Like, are there big cities out there?
Yeah. What is the Outback?
Every week. We'll do one every week for 10 weeks or 8 weeks.
40,000.
There's probably 30,000 people turning up. So these people were coming from like 1,000-kilometer drive, some of them, to turn up on these shows, and they were like,
how far is 1,000 kilometers? How many hour drive is that? I don't know. Sorry, I'm not.
An hour drive, so in New Zealand, that's probably an 8-hour drive.
Okay. Yeah, so they're driving 8 hours to see this show. I mean, but they don't get to. Yeah. There's probably not a lot going on out there, and it's a fucking legit show.
600 miles.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, so they were just
That's a commitment.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean they were into it.
Fuel alone, it's a fucking.
Outback towns, there's nothing but bush for ages. They're farmers or they're whatever.
Well, they got steaks and blooming onions. I mean.
Yeah. So
joke.
it was
Outback
definitely an eye-opener for me to see these guys coming all over to watch these shows. But I was happy to be back riding with them and progressing, which is cool.
Signing more Outback boobies. Hell yeah.
Drinking beers and signing more boobies. Yeah, that was it. That's what it was all about.
You wreck any rental cars in the Outback? Or
Right.
they got
You got some
hotels
real
in the
fun out
Outback?
there.
Like, what's in the Outback?
We wrecked rental cars. Like, we wrecked a lot of shit. You know, we got season tickets. We got
Yeah, where are you guys?
jumping.
Where are you staying out there? I mean, are there hotels in the Outback? I mean, what is?
Oh, yeah, there's hotels in these little towns when you stop through them. Like, you know, like if you've ever watched that movie, Australian movie called Wolf Creek, it's kind of like where the guys murder the backpackers.
No, it just sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Watch a movie called Wolf Creek. It's where these tourists, they backpack across Australia through the outback, and they meet these hillbilly Australians in these little towns, and they obviously lock them up in the room, and like they torture them and do whatever, you know, because that's what they do.
Right.
The hick in the middle of nowhere, that sort of stuff. So we watched those movies in Darwin.
So say the title of that movie slowly.
Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek. Okay.
Yep.
All right, I got it.
So then we travelled through those parts of Australia where the movie was shot.
And you're like, I'm fully getting raped. Like, we cannot fucking pop a tire here.
Yeah. I really don't want to get out of my car because I'm quite scared that I'm going to get fucking kidnapped.
Yeah. It's going to be like Deliverance. Same as Wolf Creek.
Yeah,
it's the Australian Deliverance.
It made $35 million in the box office.
Fucking A.
Decent hit.
Yeah, like Nate Adams, and I definitely think Mike Mason definitely didn't want to get out of the car when we stopped at gas stations and
bitches.
Towns, you know?
Come on, guys.
You've been driving with the light on for like the last 3 hours, and you know you really need to stop and get gas.
Oh, yeah.
This little hick town in the middle of nowhere. And thank fuck they serve gas, you know, and it was pretty lucky some points, you know, in the middle of the night, you know.
Yeah, they're like, we got gas, boys. What you guys need?
That's a different place there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's how it was. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I got a good visual of what's going on in this fucking outback. Yeah. Oh boy. You guys,
also
you guys allowed to carry weapons? Oh, I guess you're in Australia.
After we got that done, I was lucky enough to I got invited to go ride an event in Japan called AirX, and I got to ride with like Robbie Madison, Twitch, Takahiko Shino, Ego Sato.
Yep.
A lot of those Japanese riders, and it was like a contest in Japan, and it was in Osaka.
What'd you think? What'd you think of Japan? I don't think I would want. I don't think I'd be down with that one. Like, I'm not a big seafood guy.
I really liked Japan.
You did?
You know, I liked it. I mean, I love Japanese food, and
yeah.
It was it was pretty cool to be traveling the world and on my dirt bike. Like,
hell yeah!
I was still blown away that my dirt bike was taking me from working a normal job. I had got to quit that job and all of a sudden being paid well to be traveling to places like Japan to jump on a brand new bike and ride in front of 40,000 people.
Yeah, so when you showed up to Japan, they just hooked you up with a bike?
Pardon?
You got a bike when you were in Japan, obviously. What kind of bike did you get, and where did you get it from? Just a local shop?
The promoter got me a new bike. You know, he said, what bike do you ride? Is it, you know, when I was arranging my contracts and stuff, and I said I want to ride a Honda white, CR250, and I had a brand new bike waiting.
Preferably not off Craigslist. Could we get one from a dealership? Please.
Well, so you just
they were literally brand new bikes. All the bikes that we got were from the bike dealership, like the bike manufacturers direct. So my bike had just been shipped from Honda Japan.
Nice.
And you just bring your own suspension and a few parts, sprocket and
throttle tube.
I basically take my subframe, my seat, my front and rear suspension, my handlebars, and my top triple clamps, and and then my seat, and put it up so it's like my bike, so that
you're missing a part
when I take off the ramp.
You're missing a part.
My bike,
the aluminum throttle tube.
Yeah,
you pack that too. Come on.
Oh, and the aluminum throttle tube.
There you go. We got to add that in. That was definitely in the gear bag. Man, that's cool. So yeah, you're in Japan, man. You're traveling. So far we've gone from England to the family in New Zealand, and then we're in Australia after a year. Do you ever wish you would have started riding dirt bikes at the age of
5 years earlier?
10?
Yeah.
But yeah, like.
Yeah, I did. Like, I mean, I would have loved to have ridden dirt bikes when I was a kid, you know. But back when I lived in England, I mean, my family didn't have a lot of money, and and the south of London, there's not a lot of places to ride motorbikes. And that's why I jumped on a push bike and started riding my mountain bike at BMX, you know, because we didn't have the land like we do in New Zealand, you know.
Right.
Roger that. Speaking of that also, so in New Zealand, when you first got your bike, jumping back a little bit, like, were there like motocross tracks that you rode at, or just out in the hills? Did you ride any of that, or did you just get a fucking ramp and a pile of dirt?
No, I rode the ramp and the pile of dirt like every opportunity that I could get, but I also started meeting people and riding at local tracks and riding at their tracks, and started traveling the country. Like New Zealand, there's a lot of free ride opportunities, and you can go out on the beach and start riding the beach and stuff like that, and there's sand dunes. And
is there a lot of tracks in New Zealand? Like actual racetrack, motocross tracks?
Yeah, there's lots of motocross parks as well.
How about arena cross or supercross? Anything jumpy or technical, or is it just more?
There's a little supercross. You know, there's a bit of supercross, but not too much in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you ever race?
I did some races, yeah, like local club races and stuff like that. Yeah.
What did you think of that? Did you like it? Enjoy it?
Yeah, I liked it. You know, like I mean, I still do a bit of that now, and but yeah, I just loved riding my dirt bike. So it was kind of whatever I was doing, I was just trying to ride it as much as I could, so I could make it
just having fun.
Nature, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and getting paid after a relatively short time.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, that was the cool thing. I was starting to get paid for riding my dirt bike, and it was a dream come true, you know.
Yeah, a dream come true, to say the least.
Yeah.
I'm still blown away with the 1 year thing. That is mind blowing to me. There are literally people that work out their whole lives and never have it. So that's awesome, man.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, what happens next? We'll get back on the. Was that you or is that? I don't know what that noise was. Let's get back to what happens next after Japan there. Uh-oh. I think we lost him. Uh-oh. Didn't. Just kidding. I don't know what to do now because I think we lost him, Jeffrey.
What?
Yeah, it like made a funny sound and.
Stop it.
Yeah, Jeff takes a piss break, leaves me to man the mics, and
Jesus.
dude disappears on us.
Son of a...
So I just went like this.
I like it. Here.
And, yeah.
Let's try to call back here.
Was there a text message involved?
I don't think so.
There was a text message. I feel like there was.
Maybe. Let's look at that.
Hey guys, how's it going?
You good? You there?
Hello? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. The line just cut out.
Yeah, it just cut off.
I got up for I had to take a potty break real quick, so I left the chair for like 2 seconds. I get back, Crater's like, I don't know what the fuck happened. The guy's gone. I'm like, oh Jesus.
So anyway, yeah, what happens? What happens after Japan? There, you get that deal set up. How's that show go?
Japan went really well, and after that, I can't remember. I think I went back on to doing more Crusty Demon stuff for them, and I think like after you know I started to prove myself and make it a bit of a name for myself through the Crusty tours, but then doing a few events. I think I started getting emails to travel to Europe and stuff, and I started going to. I wrote an event called freestyle.ch. They still have it today in Switzerland.
Oh.
With like Matt Rabot and
Yep.
Robbie Madison and a lot of those Euro guys like Remy Bourgeois and all those guys.
Yeah, savages, good riders.
Yeah, it was quite cool. I started to start traveling. Like I was starting to be full time traveling the world with
How
my
much?
dirt bike.
I thought of a new question. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead.
Okay, so I have a question too. I just thought of now we're maybe 2 years into it, but what were the tricks you had? Like what was the first trick you learned? Like what was your trick progression? When did you have you flipped? I don't know a whole lot about your career.
Back then, back then it was still early days, so nobody was flipping like.
Okay.
Like that first crusty show I rode, only Twitch and Nate Adams, I think, and Ronnie Price was flipping. They were flipping the 45-foot gap then. No one had flipped 75 feet then.
Yep. Super kicker. Yeah.
So off the super kicker, and so that was in 2004.
Okay.
And that show, and I think in 2007, maybe, I flipped 45 feet, so 2 or 3 years later.
Wow.
And and when and how did you learn that? Where did you do foam pit? Did you just go straight to dirt?
No, 2006. So no, like pretty much. Me and Nick Franklin went for it in 2004. I think we went for it. We because we started seeing Twitch and a lot of those guys doing flips, and I think there was only probably 3 riders in the world doing flips. Then there was Mike Metzer had flipped.
Yep.
Twitch and a few of those boys. So we just put some hay on his landing in Tokoroa in New Zealand and jacked up a 9.1 ramp because we didn't have the plans for a super kicker back then. And
throw some 2x4s under this guy and put some mattresses out like Crew Jones.
Pretty much. We just put some hay on the landing ramp and found our balls and went for it. You know.
There you go.
I mean, that's what Metzger did, right? He just had hay bales on top, right?
Or I think he did it in the dunes too. I think he took a ramp out to like the dunes and
really?
yeah, possibly. I don't remember.
We started trying to do that, but none of us succeeded that day.
Go ahead. What was that? Sorry.
None of us succeeded that day. We ended up just smashing our bikes up and managing to walk away and tell the tale. But
how'd it go? Jesus.
We gave it a go, and from that, I was like, well, we need a foam pit, and I actually went out and got some deals with a foam company and managed to make my own foam pit.
Oh, good for you.
And then from then on, I progressed to learn the 45-foot backflip. And then I started doing those in the crusty shows, probably, a few years later after Twitch and stuff started doing that, so I was quite up there when, basically we were all, Robbie Madison, Twitch, Philco, Cam Sinclair, myself, we were flipping 45 feet.
Yep.
So I managed to do that, but I quickly progressed to 75 feet.
Yeah, good for you. I hate the 45-foot flip, just personally.
Yeah, man, it's hard. I have to. It's one of those flips that you can either over-rotate it or under-rotate it. It's very, very easy to do because you pretty much don't have to pull off the takeoff. I just don't feel like we need 52 different ramps. Like, let's just do one and learn the tricks off that one. Like, I mean, I get it. There's some specialty shit going on, but I found that when I learned to flip 75 foot feet, it was just a
made
lot
life
better.
a lot easier. Yeah.
Made a lot of life easier. It was all done off the takeoff, that one first initial pull, and then you had a lot more time to sort the thing out upside down once you got that rotation going, and you could slow it down or speed it up, and it was just a lot better, a lot more comfortable.
For sure. What was your foam pit built like? Did you have like containers for walls or fencing, or was it just a pile of foam?
We built it. Me and my dad built it all out of just fencing. We just did you have
a crane?
Timber framing. Oh yeah. What I did was I concreted a post in the ground, dug a hole and concreted the post in the ground, and I had like an old truck axle with a arm welded off it that I could swing around
Fucking
because it's
engineer.
rotated as the axle did. And then we put an electric boat winch onto it, rigged up to a battery, which would pull the bike out. You know,
I like
Yeah.
it. I like
so you
it.
could winch the bike up.
Do you
Yeah,
have
and then
do you have
spin it
any?
around and then drop the bike up?
I imagine you have to have some good foam pit stories, especially being in New Zealand. I'm sure there's lots of creepy crawly fucking things that I would not want to see in the bottom of the foam pit.
But
Or
not so much as Australia. In Australia, there's lots more stuff. I mean, like
okay,
in the Gold Coast, like Harry Dink
yep.
and Cainstoul's foam pit. Like, there's a python that lives in their foam pit.
A
you know,
person
'cause,
or a python?
A python
Oh fuck
that
that!
lives in the foam pit. So,
Yeah.
so you know
It
there's a
lives in the
python
foam
in there.
pit to the right.
Those guys are savages. They
It
don't give a
lives to the
shit.
right hand side of the foam pit because Jacko gets it out every now and then when he's there, and likes because he's quite a bit of a snake handler. He likes to play his wild shit, you know. 'Cause
Yeah.
he's a country bumpkin, and there's even a his foam pit in Australia. Like, I went out there, you know, and he's got snakes slithering into the foam pit and shit. And
Ugh.
man, I'm not sure what, you know. In Australia, there's snakes that will bite you, and you'll be dead within fucking a few minutes, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
Oh,
There's
and
a
or
lot of shit in
spiders.
Australia that is trying to
They'll
kill you.
Fuck you up quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was more worried about. I'm not sure if I'm worried about my bike hitting me in the foam pit or me landing in face first into the foam pit.
Or
Next to a
foam
python.
pit fire. I mean, ugh.
Fire's at the bottom of the list, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Snakes and
Yeah.
Yeah,
spiders.
fire's
and-
at the bottom of the list. I'm worried about a big fucking snake biting me.
Yeah, exactly.
or wrapping around your goddamn neck.
choking you the fuck out. Yeah, like this is gonna be the
Yeah,
last
yeah,
thing
exactly.
you see.
Yeah, so-
Me.
But in New Zealand, we don't have we don't really have snakes and stuff like that, which is quite safe. I just had a lot of, like, you know, spiders and shit like that in my foam pit. So, you know, like, you just get used to that, you know.
Yeah.
There's nothing really in New Zealand that will kill you,
Right.
You got to do what you
so
got to
it's
do.
quite safe.
Do you still have the foam pit?
Yeah. No, I don't have the foam pit no more, no.
Smart. Yeah.
You got an airbag?
Fuck it. Yeah. No. Just, I mean,
No, I don't have anything now. Like, you know, when I stopped for a bit, I stopped for a number of years, and I got rid of my foam pit. I sold it to some other younger guys that wanted to learn flips and things, and I kind of just moved on from that, you know. And
So what
be
leads
honest,
you
like-
what leads you to stopping for a bit? What leads to the break?
well, so in 2009, I had a traumatic brain injury, so I had a bleed and a swell on the brain, and I ended up in a coma for 8 days in hospital for 5 months.
How do you end up with a brain bleed?
So I was out practicing for one of the Krusty tours, and I just learned a backflip indie to indie, like a switchblade indie there one side, one indie there the other side,
Yep.
and I was doing a straight jump in between my flips, and a stone locked my front brake on, or my front brake had locked on when I landed, and I ended up going face first into a rock hard summer concrete down ramp, and my helmet exploded on impact, and I ended up being knocked unconscious for like 40 minutes.
What year is this?
And then coming round from being knocked out, I ended up having, I think I had like 5 or 6 seizures on the way to hospital.
Oh man.
And then from there, I was induced into a coma, and I spent 8 days in intensive care. And
how far away from the
Yeah.
hospital were you?
I was probably 35 minutes drive.
Okay,
40 minutes
that's
drive.
good. That's good.
That's not
So
great.
It was quite close. Yeah.
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 What year was that?
They call it the golden hour. You want to be? Yeah.
2009.
Okay.
So that was, I was told I'd never ride a bike again, and obviously I had to spent 3 months in 5 months in a brain injury hospital, sort of a brain
wow.
rehabilitation sort of sector.
Yeah. Did you have to relearn
so I had to
anything?
I had to relearn to walk. I had memory tests every second day with, with different psychologists and things like that. I had, it was my life was hospital, you know.
Did you have a girlfriend or
significant other?
significant
I had a
other?
girlfriend at the time. Yeah, I had a girlfriend at the time that I was with, and you know, like she was with me around that.
I always hear that like people that suffer a traumatic brain injury can like personalities can change massively. Did you have any of that?
Yeah, exactly. Like I mean, I guess I did, and I had a, you know, I mean, I for me back then, I struggled with a lot of anger and a lot of, you know, like my sleep, you know, like I almost went back to being like a baby, you know, like I needed to sleep twice a day because the interaction with people, I couldn't take it on. It was too much for me, and you know, like my life changed. I went from traveling the world and living my dream to overnight being told I couldn't do this again. I wasn't allowed to drive from the seizures. I was in hospitals, you know, and I had constant hospital care for the next 2-3 years, you know, and
how was that? I mean, was depression? Did you have depression? Obviously, probably.
Yeah, depression. I suffered from depression a bit as well because I felt my life had been taken away. I thought, like, well, why am I still here? You know, like it was kind of one of those things that, you know, why am I here? Like I questioned that a lot because I was like, you know, like I was at the peak of my career and doing exactly what I love to do.
Finally found the thing, and I got accepted, and shows are going amazing. Like things are happening.
Yeah,
and I just halted.
It got away from me, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no
bullshit. So today, I mean, do you feel like you're maybe different than you were before the injury, though? Now, still, or not? I mean, you think?
I think I've gone full circle, and I think like I'm. You know, I'm pretty lucky that I see lots of people with brain injuries. They get punched, or they have an accident, or they fall and hit their head, or whatever. And you see a lot of those people that are a lot slower.
That's what I mean.
Their speech is impaired, and I was like that at the start when it first happened. When it first happened, I used to stutter a lot, and I struggled to get the words out that I wanted to, and I was very frustrated.
Yep.
From that.
Understandable.
Years and years on, I've come full circle, and I don't get tired anymore, and I'm back to me. You know.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What were you saying? So you were with this girl for 5 years. She stayed with you through the brain thing, or?
She stayed with me through the brain thing, or like part of it through the brain thing, and I think maybe a year after the brain thing or things like that, we parted ways. And, you know, but I guess that was maybe, I look at it now as it was probably quite a hard thing for her to take on going through that, you know, like she was with me, travel around the world with me, and we'd go to, you know, one weekend we were in Vegas, the next weekend we were in Europe, the next weekend we were somewhere else, and then all of a sudden that got taken away, and she was looking after me full time, and
but again, like, you know, hey, it's hard on you. Yeah, fuck. What do you think? It's hard on me, motherfucker. Like, I'm the one with the fucking brain injury, and that was taking us around the world and doing all these, like.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be hard.
Yeah, well, that was kind of a lot with my argument.
You were what now?
That was a lot with my argument. With the fact was, you know, like, I understand it's hard for her, but I was like, imagine what it's like for me because my life has been taken away, and I'm like. All I've ever done is ride a dirt bike, so what the fuck do I do now?
She's like, you're just an asshole because you have a brain injury now. You're like, well, I don't know, no.
I would imagine, especially being a girlfriend, that would be hard. I mean, wife and kids, I feel like maybe people stick it out a little better, but that'd be tough.
You've stuck with me through all I mean...
Yeah, but I didn't have to like.
I've always kind of been special.
Yeah, I mean, somebody else always did that part. Yeah, well, I just picked you up and went and had a little fun and brought you home.
Newsflash, you're in now. Yeah, get ready. Oh boy, man. Okay, so you have to go through this thing, traumatic brain injury. That was where'd you say it happened at? It was just practicing?
It happened just like on the west coast of Auckland, so like probably 40 minutes drive from where I live now, you know, so just out of a friend's farm. just out there. And
I mean,
yeah,
hey, it's probably better there than in Japan, or I mean, at least you weren't, like.
Yeah,
oh man, I'm if I was in somewhere like South America or somewhere like that, I probably wouldn't be here today to tell the tale. I was pretty lucky that I was around some good people. Like one of my friends, he's very trained in first aid and stuff like that, and he made sure until the ambulance got there that I was conscious and trying to keep me from falling asleep and
mobilized,
and making sure he said my eyes were rolling to the back of my head and stuff like that. So I'm pretty lucky that he was there. Because like I say, if I was in some other country around the world where there was a language barrier, I probably might have not been so lucky,
Yeah, that familiar voice sometimes is really nice to have when you're not doing so well.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it can be.
Well, so okay, you have the injury. So what prompts you to say, okay, I'm ready. I want to ride again.
So what it was I didn't touch any alcohol, or I didn't, I basically gave my body the best recovery I could for the next 4 or 5 years. And I think it was like maybe the 5-year mark or 4-year mark. I was actually in the South Island of New Zealand, so I was in the other end of the country. I'd gone down there to do an FMX coaching sort of thing. So I started coaching a lot of riders and basically kind of help teach them get into FMX the safe way. Even though I didn't ride anymore, and that was kind of my way back of getting into the sport still. And I was in the South Island training these kids. I think there was probably
and trying to make some money in the meantime. I'm sure.
Yeah. I made some money doing that as well, and coaching these kids. And I was down there training them in the South Island down there. And at the end of the day, I asked one of them if I could have a go on their dirt bike, and I was like, "Do you mind if I jump the ramp, or have a ride around?" And he was quite happy with that, and I ended up jumping the ramp. And
do you remember what bike it was you hopped on?
Wow, I'd never ever ridden a 450 before, and it was a KDM 450.
Nice.
So I was a two-stroke man my whole career, and this bike was a KDM 450, and I rode it around for probably 30 minutes and jumped the ramp and did a couple of tricks, and I was like, wow, after 4 years, I can still do it, it's like, and I'm not even on my bike. And I suppose, like always, I jump in the deep end, and one thing got the better of me. And I remember riding up to the kid and said, "Hey, do you mind if I go for a backflip on your bike?" And he was like, instantly, like, yes.
Okay, hang on. So this guy, hang on. You haven't ridden in 4 or 5 years. You're borrowing a 4-stroke that you've never ridden ever from a kid.
Yeah.
It's a borrowed bike. You ride around for 30 minutes, hit the ramp. Now you want to flip it. I love your style, man. Love your style.
Yeah, and then
it's a true psychopath.
Some people heard that I was going to go for a flip, and they kind of tried to stop because they there was the risk of if I hit my head again, doctors said that I could die, and all that sort of stuff because of my brain injury and all that blah stuff.
Yep.
And I remember these people starting to run close to me to try to stop me. And I just clicked first gear and took off before they even got the chance to kind of...
You can also get hit by a car tomorrow and fucking die. Like, I mean, it does happen, unfortunately.
Then I lined up the ramp, and I did 2 straight jumps. That was my usual thing, is when I want to go for something, I'll do 2 straight jumps. And on the third time, I'm going for it. I lock it in, and I'll go for it. And,
there you go.
And I locked it in, and I pulled that sucker around, and I did my first backflip.
What'd you think of the big boy, the big 450?
Did it come around faster and easier than you expected?
I actually was scared of the 450, of the power of it, and I actually flipped 75 feet in first gear.
Oh, wow.
First gear?
So I was, I was in first gear on this bike, and
fucking
I flipped
sprockets this kid have on this thing. Good for you. Yeah, I mean, they got power. I mean, they can get over it. Yeah, they got the juice.
It come round, and I did a couple more flips, and I was blown away. And then the next day, trained a bunch more kids, and
then you went to the dealership.
Went to the KTM dealership.
And I did some more flips on it, but then it went wrong. I tried to flip on like maybe my fourth flip of the day, and the bike didn't come round, and I under-rotated the backflip. And,
Don't tell me it was the throttle tube.
Yeah, and
I'll be mad.
I broke my collarbone. I pretty much rode it into the ground, you know, and under-rotated a 75-foot flip, and broke my collarbone on that one. So
that's getting off pretty easy.
Yeah.
But so after that, obviously I was injured. You know, with a collarbone, it's 3-4 weeks or whatever like that. You know, so you can kind of.
At that point, though, you probably have people chirping in your ear too, like, "Oh, what are you doing? Like, you could have hurt your head." Like
in that time, I got hit up by Nitro Circus. So Nitro Circus was coming to New Zealand, and they were like, "We've heard that you've got on a bike again, and after 5 years, and you backflipped someone else's bike. Is that true?" And I was like, "Yeah." You know, I sent them some video clips of it. And, but I was like, "I'm actually broken at the moment." So, you know, and they were like, "Well, you know, you've got 6 months, and we're coming to New Zealand to do the Nitro Circus tour, and we'd like you to ride in the tour." So, I think I was still injured at the time, so I went down to my local Yamaha dealership and managed to actually walk out there with a sponsorship deal, and I got a brand new bike, a YZ250 again. I jumped on the Yamaha again, and a local dealership gave me a new Yamaha through Yamaha New Zealand, and so when I was recovered, that was my new bike, you know.
I like it. Did you say it was the Nitro Circus tour, or?
You did.
Yeah, Nitro Circus. Yeah.
Nice. So that's.
Was that the first time they had come down there?
So so then when I got on the bike, it was I think on my second or third day, I started backflipping a YZ250 and just progressed and just practice and I took off where I left off. You know, like back before I had my brain injury, I started doing Superman backflips and Indian air backflips and things like that again. And
feeling comfortable.
And really,
I was gonna say, did you learn new tricks? I mean, obviously there'd been 4 years off the bike. There's obviously been progression in the sport. So
yeah, probably yes. Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
I picked it up. I was riding with those Nitro Circus boys, and I kind of didn't want to be slouching, so I kind of made sure I learned a lot of upside down tricks, and as well as my regular tricks and things like that, and so that when I was coming into the tour with them, because the tour I rode with was with Bilko Cam Sinclair, like I think like Jackson Strong rode that tour, Jared McNeil,
nice.
A lot of those guys. So yeah, it was it was cool to ride alongside those guys and go do it. It was something different again.
Hey, jumping back, I don't know. I kind of asked it. I don't know if you answered it. We might have moved on to something else. I have a question too. So back in the first part, when you got your ramp and you were setting it at 50 feet or whatever, and progressing, doing 75 feet or whatever, what were the first tricks you wanted to learn or did learn, or like you were looking up to these guys like, oh man?
I think the first trick I learned was a can. I could do a double can on a BMX and a mountain bike, so I was like, well, that's where I'm going to start.
That's my guy.
I did a double can.
Fuck yeah, bro. Hey, that's my trick.
And then I learned from that. I learned heel clickers and stuff, and then like I learned obviously from a double can. I learned catwalks and switchblade indies and things like that. And then I started learning Superman seat grabs and things like that,
Okay, yeah.
And then quickly progressed. Like once I learned a seat grab, I did a seat grab indie. Then I did a double grab, and then I started doing heart attacks and things like that. So it kind of just once you learn the basics of those tricks, everything kind of comes off those first initial tricks, and you can kind of just snowball it,
I was gonna say, I felt like not knowing, but just thinking and being halfway intelligent, I'm like, your trick progression had to be rapid. I mean, because you're in, you're already on the crust. Like, sometimes it takes people.
Well, that's what he said earlier. He said
Billy
he was emailing
Binkley's
them
a professional that's ridden fucking.
Back then, like what I did was I was slow motion my DVDs down. Like I'd watch DVDs and I'd press the pause button and pretty much slow-mo the clip. And I'd just break down on what the rider was doing when they left the ramp to how they perform those tricks. And I would kind of learn those basics and then do that progression. So I'd watch videos every night, you know, from different moto videos or whatever like that, and just basically break down how they did the trick. And
I was not smart enough to do that.
No, you were not.
No,
he was doing homework.
I just did that, and then I got focus and put it into action. Like I'd write a list down of what tricks I wanted to learn each day, and go out there and focus on them. And some days I would pick them up real quick, and some days it might take me other times. And what I started to learn over the time was, out of the 5 tricks that I might learn, 2 of them or 3 of them were unfeasible to learn, and I started getting frustrated. So it was better to not get frustrated with a trick and move on to the next one and focus on that.
But you were taking this super seriously. Like this was like this was your idea of, this was going to be your job. Like you were practicing.
Yeah,
like,
well, that's what I wanted. Like I didn't start it out to be like, hey, I just want to ride and have fun. I did want to ride and have fun, but I saw it as I'm gonna jump from mountain biking, being professional and doing this, and I'm going to jump quickly into motocross.
I can do this. I can get with these guys.
And I'm going to make a living out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just said that this is what I'm doing, and there's no ifs and buts. I'm going to make a living out of it. You know?
Yeah. Nice. I'm going to get on that level one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. And I just had that mindset of whatever it's going to take to do that. I was going to do that. You know?
Yeah. Respect that. I mean, for sure.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, that is, crazier. Yeah, I mean, we've talked to a handful of people. It's just a crazy story.
Like kids that I say today is, you're going to get hurt along the way, and I've had a lot of injuries over the 15 years or whatever that I've been doing this, and if kids don't like getting hurt, they should change sports, because freestyle motocross is a dangerous sport as it is, and you're going to get hurt. You know.
Yeah, it's not
absolutely.
It's not if, it's when.
That's right.
Can't backflip a dirt bike and be 40 feet in the air and not get hurt. You know,
expect to live through it all the time.
At work yeah, exactly, completely.
Yeah, there's just too many moving parts.
Yeah. So what happens after the nitros? Like they sign you up. You say, yeah. You show up 6 months later.
You're just healed.
So
off
you're hanging. You're doing good.
Yeah, no, well, after I rode Nitro Circus, I was kind of like, that was me going full circle. I kind of felt like I had a lot of shit to prove to people, because when I got hurt and I had a brain injury, I found out who was real in my life, because I had a lot of people that I thought they were my friends, and when I wasn't on the Krusty Tour no more, and I was in hospital, and I was...
Phone's not ringing?
I went from... the phone wasn't ringing. People that I thought were my friends were
not
texting
in my
back.
Life no more.
Like,
what the fuck?
There were lots of fake people that just vanished from my life, and I felt like, as much as that sucks, I kind of needed that. That brought me down to reality again, and it was quite funny that when I signed to Nitro Circus, a lot of those people were like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" Like a lot of those people tried to come back into my life again. But
you're like, I remember you.
I told them,
I might have had a brain injury, but I ain't stupid.
I told him where to go, and and I had so many people that was like, then he's never going to ride a dirt bike again. He's done. And for me, I kind of wanted to prove to them that not only am I going to get to ride a dirt bike again, I'm going to ride to one of the biggest action sports shows in the world, and I'm at that level again, if I want to be,
Fuck.
So,
dude, yeah.
that was for me.
Savage. That's savage.
And I kind of, after that, I felt like I'd gone full circle, and I didn't really feel like I had anything to prove anymore, So I was kind of ready to hang it up after that, and just through me,
For sure.
So is that that's what you did. You kind of called the FMX.
Yeah, well, I didn't ride any more Nitro Circus tours after that. I did a couple of other international events. I did an event called AirX. Not AirX. They do a
Masters of
Monster
Dirt?
Energy doing a event. No, but I did Masters of Dirt. Yeah, I actually did one of the rounds of Masters of Dirt in I think I rode Vienna, or I rode Warsaw in Poland or somewhere. I rode one of the Masters of Dirt. And then I went and did a Monster Energy, X-Pilot, it's called X-Pilot.
In
Mexico. So So I went and rode X-Pilots in Mexico.
Any good Mexican stories? Mexico stories? Yeah, I mean,
just enjoy the cocaine and have fun. You know.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some Pablo Escobar, El Chapo.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
It snows a lot in Mexico for being 100 degrees.
It's warm, but it's snowy.
Yeah.
Why is that?
It's weird.
Yeah,
Weird combination.
If you guys are in Mexico, as you know how wild that place is. So go have some fun and experience some Mexican girls and
check out a donkey show or two. I mean,
yeah. Yeah, that place is crazy.
Yeah, what part of Mexico were you in?
So after Mexico, I was kind of done. I come back to New Zealand and just enjoyed riding my dirt bike for me and not having any pressure and just hanging out with my friends again and basically riding my dirt bike when I wanted to ride it and just been enjoying myself and just riding motos.
Did you ever get yourself roped into doing any of those stupid step-up competitions, or did you avoid that?
No, I looked at those things and thought that was dumb, and I don't want to go 30 feet in the air and
touche
and basically slap down because you're not traveling any forward momentum, so it's going to go wrong at some point. And and I wasn't one of those.
It went wrong for all I mean.
It hurts.
Renner and all those guys that can do it, but I'm like,
did Renner ever get hurt doing it? I feel like he was actually one of the guys that got away with it.
I'm sure everyone that does step up has got hurt doing it.
I mean, a lot of them got hurt.
Blow their shoulders out.
Yeah, I've seen Didnt dislocate his fucking shoulder more times than...
Yeah, if you come off at all, that is good. Like broken ankles and shit. I mean, guys doing it right break their ankles probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a fucking dumb thing, you know.
Yeah, I don't know who ever thought that fucking whole ordeal up, but yeah, never something. I mean, I appreciate it. I respect the guys.
Sure.
I just never something I was probably talented enough to do realistically.
No, you definitely were not.
No.
We should build one.
No.
Just for you to try it.
No.
We should. It'd be fun.
Maybe a cut down version on a 110.
Yeah, we could do 110 step up. We'll build that at the new house.
We'll do. I'll hit a 110.
We'll do 110 step up contest.
Right. I ain't scared. I hit the Pac-Man ramp. You know, skills, bro. Man. So did you ever do any X Games overseas or any of the?
No, I didn't. I just pretty much did demos and things like that. I just got tied in. Doing the demos, the contest wasn't really my sort of thing. I think I spent.
Hey, demo life is not bad. I mean, contests aren't all they're cracked up to be. I mean, the judging is. I have
the contest riders out there and do that, but I found for me I was so busy with doing demos and things like that. I just went from show to show to show and did that. You know, that was kind of my thing. You know,
guaranteed pay goes a long way.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was quite nice, you know, to be doing that, you know. And
do you have any
things like Red Bull X Fighters and things that wasn't really around, you know? Then.
Okay. Yeah. I love those shows, the X Fighters. Red Bull's that's a good company. I mean, they
promote some cool events.
They just
they're cool at what they do, you know.
They go 100%. They build. I mean, they don't fuck around.
Well, they got ideas that they come up with shit that. Yeah, special.
Monster's trying. They're
doing
definitely second, and fucking Rockstar's just I don't know what they're doing.
They're very into racing.
Yeah.
Also.
Do you have any stories of any traveling to places where you get there and the bike is sketchy as fuck, or there is no bike, or the ramp is sketchy, or the landing is sketchy, or?
I had a trip to India. One of my last gigs that I did, I broke my wrist in India. So I rode what was like the Formula One in India.
Okay.
In a place called Chennai in India, and I turned up and my bike was it was probably like 4 or 5 years old, but it was clapped out. It was
fresh off Craigslist.
Fresh off Craigslist. The thing was like. The guy said it was a freshie, and it was fucking like the thing had done like 300 hours or something like that. It was pretty worked, and I ended up the bike pretty much didn't have the gas or didn't have enough power to jump 75 feet.
Was it a 2-stroke or 4-stroke? What kind of bike was it?
A 2-stroke, a YZ 250.
Okay. Yep.
And I ended up frame casing the back of the ramp to a steel truck.
Oh, God.
Without any airbags on the back of it.
Oh,
in India.
I've literally been there.
Yeah, my partner
Not in
here has
India,
done
but-
that. Yeah, exact same thing you
Yeah, well,
speak of.
now I know that I think you can wind yourself so bad that you pass out on impact, and I end up going to an Indian hospital.
Do you wake up with a sore back every day? Yeah.
Hold on. I want to hear the Indian hospital story here.
Oh, God.
Yeah, there was mud on the walls, and
Did you
it looked
get
like
curry
it looked
for
like
breakfast?
There was a motocross track inside this hospital.
Nice.
Curry for breakfast.
A lot of dirt on the
There
floor.
was,
Cleanliness is a fucking
dirt
option.
on the floor, and they x-rayed it and said it wasn't broken, and I was like, man, I've broke lots of bones. And
Yeah,
this thing's
I think your
broken.
X-ray
So,
machine's
like,
fucking broken. Is what's broken here.
I was like, do you have any painkillers? And they gave me these blue tablets. And I'm like, that's either sleeping tablets or Viagra. I was like, I don't need that. I need some pain relief, fuck, I don't want a hard dick or nothing like that. I kind of want to make sure it's fucking, my wrist is good,
Yeah.
So,
You're like, I guess I'll take a hard dick, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
You're like, I need to get rid of my pain. Is really what-
and, I got my girlfriend at the time to pick me up from the airport when I landed in Auckland, and we went straight to the hospital here. And I just said I fell off my bike at home a couple of days ago, and I thought my arm would get better so I could claim medical, cover over there.
Okay.
And I thought my wrist was broken, but just they would put a cast on it. But I ended up having, my wrist was that bad that I had 2 operations to fix my wrist. And I spent a week in hospital, and so that was kind of my India story.
And the Indian people just told you to fucking put a Band-Aid on it and you're golden? Or
Indians just said it wasn't broken. And I was like, your x-ray machine was probably made in like 1960.
Yeah.
I would have been better off to fucking use
Too
a
much
hand
dirt
scanner
in your x-ray
and
machine.
scan that shit. Oh man, it was crazy. I was like, and as well, I was like, not in a million years, if my wrist is broken, and you guys touch me with a scalpel or a knife, because there's mud on the walls. I'm going to get infection, and you end up popping it off anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I was just like, fuck that. That's the first and last time I'm going to India again.
There you go. Yeah, lesson learned, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Sketchy. Did you get paid
exactly,
decent at least? And
yeah, well, that's exactly. I went there the week before, and I got paid very well.
Okay.
And so then he's like, hey, we have an event next week. Do you want to come back? And I was like, the same money? And he was like, yep. So I was like, that's why I went there, because it was just, it was good money. And
you should have said same bike. Fuck.
I signed up, and I should have said the same bike. But I suppose it was a different part of India, and
Yep.
I just thought that bike was good, and
you figured he'd hook you. Yeah.
I thought it would be good, and because the week before I rode an event called India Bike Week, and it was pretty cool, and it was
everything was good.
80,000 people there, and it was a good bike. Goa is a part of India which is kind of like Thailand. It's quite nice. It's like touristy. It's got beaches. It's a nice part of India.
A lot of lady boys.
No, not so much. Not so much in India.
Well, you said it was like Thailand. I don't know. I mean, that's what I.
It is like Thailand.
Yeah. That's my go-to in Thailand. I know that.
But there's not lady boys everywhere.
Hey, if you look hard enough, there are. I'll sniff them out.
Yeah, he will sniff them out.
Oh dear, man, that is a crazy India story. God damn. How long is that flight? With a broken arm and no pain, with a Viagra, a hard dick and a broken arm in a plane.
I think it took me like 17 hours or something like that to get home.
Fuck that.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucked off, like no pain relief and just a broken arm. I've had a broken arm for like 3 days.
Ugh.
And I was just fucking up.
Ugh.
I just wanted to get home, There's nothing worse when you're hurt, you want to be at home in your home bed or whatever,
Right.
you just want to be home.
Yeah.
And having to jump on a plane with your luggage and fucking all that shit and no one want to help you. And, man, I just wanted to be home. I couldn't wait to get on that plane and just fucking get home,
Mm-hmm. I get it.
So after that, I was kind of like done with international events and FMX in some sense,
Yep.
I mean, I still like riding dirt bikes and I still wanted to do that, but there was no way or no amount of money that could take me out of New Zealand to ride, my dirt bike anymore. I think I was just done. I was just like, hey, I've done this for probably 15 years now, and I've had lots of injuries along the way, but I was just like, man, that India trip, I was just like, I'm done. I just need to stay at home and ride, and I don't want to do contests anymore. I don't want to do shows. I just want to ride for me. You know?
For sure. Hey, I have a question I don't think we ever have talked about. Have you ever made it out to the States? Temecula, California?
I mean, I've been out, but like I've never got to ride and hang out with the boys in Temecula and stuff like that.
No, yeah.
I always thought there was other things that went on, and I never did, you know. So.
Oh, you did say you've been to Vegas though and shit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to Vegas.
You've
so, like,
experienced Vegas.
a band. I used to ride for a band called Kicker Car Audio, and they'd fly me out to Vegas to ride. They do the thing called the Big Air Bash in Vegas, where like I think like Flowers Road, Pastrana, like Terry Hart would be in it, Mike Mason.
What year was that? Was it tied to any other event? It wasn't part of like the U.S. Open or anything, was it?
For the car park. I don't know if you remember seeing that on Nitro Circus when Travis base jumped out of the car park off the hotel in Vegas at the party to the car park. Yeah, I was at that event then. That was. I think that was 2009. That was right before my brain injury.
Okay.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. You ever have any interest in doing any base jumping or parachuting in general, or?
I would like. I mean, I've done some skydiving. I've done that a few times and jumped out of a plane, and I'd like to give base jumping a go. Like I'd like to maybe do it off a bridge first, because you can do the flip where you shoot pulls, you know, that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But I look at that. It's pretty fucking scary, but I mean, it'd be pretty insane to do, you know.
I don't think it's that scary as long as your chute opens.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
As long as
fucking. Yep.
Because I mean, I jumped out of an airplane.
Dirt bike jumps are easy until your fucking throttle tube comes off.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah, it's all
I did
easy.
a tandem jump one time
until shit goes wrong.
And it was like surreal. Like it was just oddly.
I've never felt any desire to.
No, well, my wife wanted to do it for her birthday, so we went and did it, which is funny because she's terrified of heights.
Yeah.
So she did this.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just weird. Like you go out the plane, and like the scary part was you sit on the edge of the plane and you put your feet back, and there's nothing there. Well, there's nothing there. Like I feel like I was supposed to hit the plane.
Well, that's what I mean. And that when I did it out of the plane, that was the scariest thing. And I think I was like third or fourth out the plane. I think the craziest thing is to watch the people in front of you jump out the plane first.
Oh, I was the first one out.
Jump out
You're like, my legs ain't touching nothing.
No, you don't touch and you fall out. But then once you're out,
you see them and you're like, where the fuck did they go?
Yeah.
They just shoot off into the clouds.
Oh, you see, and I didn't get to see anybody go out. I was first out.
Oh, boy.
But to me, it was like once you were out of the plane,
I was like, holy fuck.
They're gone. They just vanished.
Yeah, but once you're out of the plane, it was like, you don't feel like you're falling to the ground. Like, it was just this weird, surreal. I thought the ground was going to come at you fat. Like, no. It's just, you're floating up there almost. And like, it just wasn't, just very different than I expected. It wasn't, the thrill that I expected to feel was literally where you stick your feet out the plane, you fall out. That's the adrenaline, and then it goes away, and then you're just this.
I'll bet it's different if you jump off like a 10-story hotel in Seattle with no parachute.
It would come at you really fast.
I'll bet, if shit's happening quick and you just go splat.
Well, that would be very different, No, I'm not doing that. I mean,
just saying.
9/11, can you imagine being those guys jumping out that window?
Yeah, the fucking fire.
Fire.
You got to get away.
Brutal.
Yeah.
That'd be a scary day. Right. Burning's bad, but jumping out of plane or jumping out a window 40 stories up is bad too.
Lots of ways to die. Burning to death is not
probably
really
not the top of my list of ways to go.
Me neither. Ugh.
Jumping out a 40-story window, though.
No, I mean,
Fuck. That's a lot of thinking.
Yeah, and quick.
No, that's not, I don't think it'd be as quick as you want it to be. I think 40 stories, it would take longer than you want it to.
No, I'm saying you have a quick decision. You're I mean, the fire is coming, and help apparently isn't. So
you burned up both extinguishers that you had in your office.
Yeah, We got to make moves somehow. We're either running into the fire or running out the window.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. I've never
Pick
had to
your
experience
poison.
something nearly like that.
Yeah, me neither.
So.
Fuck that. My dad was a firefighter. I've heard fucking stories of some crazy bullshit.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. A little
Back
off
to-
track, but hey, it happens.
Yeah, that's why we're off
Hey,
track.
boys, I'm gonna have to love you and leave you, but I'm gonna have to fly. I've got a run to catch up with some people, and
You're good.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. We were a little late on the call anyway.
You you want to thank anybody before we go?
No, that's okay. No, I just say I thank you guys for letting me be a part of this and for interviewing me. It's been cool, and yeah.
Dude, you had a good story. It was super fun.
Yeah.
We learned a lot
Thanks
about
for coming
you.
on, and
Yeah.
we'll reach out and let you know how this thing goes and when it's going to be on the air.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I'll hit you up soon.
Yeah. Send me some links and let me know the feedback you get from this story and you know and from the podcast and stuff like that, and let's be in touch.
100%. If you ever make it out to the States and you're in Washington, Seattle area, look us up. We'll be more than happy to take you out for
I mean, like, when the COVID shit's gone and we can fucking travel again, I'd love to come out and come hang.
for sure.
All right, man. Have a good night.
We
or
can make
day
it.
or-
We can make it snow in Seattle and have a cerveza. I mean,
Sweet, sounds good.
all right, buddy. Cheers. Have a good
Cheers.
one. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Bye.
Yep. Later. Nice. That went.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
That was an abrupt end. We haven't. That was the first one of those we've got. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
We were a little
were
late
there.
on the call.
Well, yeah, a
and
little
we're an hour and 45.
Yeah, we had
I mean,
a
it
good
was
show.
it was good. He was. I was.
He's done a ton of traveling.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy that
Started riding dirt bikes at 20.
that was impressive. Yeah, and got picked up quick. And then,
Yeah. I mean, wow. Talk about life can make you fast.
right.
Jesus.
I mean, it sounds like he makes it happen. So he just decides what he's going to do and goes and does it.
yeah, which is good.
Yeah, that's awesome. More power to him right there.
Respect for sure. That
And to
guy.
come back from that brain injury and go like day one back on the bike, go like, hey, cool if I do a backflip.
Yeah. Can I ride a 450?
No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this fucking loud thumping thing? Oh,
Yeah,
it's different than a two-stroke? Okay. It's like
Hey mate, can I borrow your bike? I'm going to do a backflip.
it's like I was doing the jumps on my 250 in fourth gear. What should I hit it in this?
Yeah, first. Okay.
Like, do
No,
I click
that's awesome.
up more or down more? Like,
No, that's super impressive adaptability though. Like to be able to get on a 4-stroke
100%.
and then be
It's
able to go
insane.
hit the ramp the right speed. And by this point, he at least already like had figured out second gear jumping, not fourth.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And
yeah.
whatever. But
I
to be
know.
off a bike for 4 years,
I make jokes, Creator.
I know. But to be off
tried.
a bike for 4 years,
Yeah.
like I'm sorry, but the longest break I've ever taken is like, now it was over a year. But I got on the bike and didn't want to jump like a 40-foot double on an arena cross track.
And you're a jumper.
I was, and I'm not as much anymore.
You're
but
a jumper. You're
like I just
you're
I
more
didn't
of a
wanna-
jumper than a go faster.
Well, lately,
Yeah.
I mean,
You didn't have much go fast in the jumping realm either, but
yeah, no, I'm mediocre at all of it. You know what I'm saying?
lots of slow supercross laps.
Yeah, jack of all trades and master of none on the two wheels. I could ride arena cross and enduro cross and outdoors and all of it and do pretty okay.
1,000 mediocre supercross rounds.
Yeah,
Just right there, just making night shows. Hey, you're getting checks.
I
up
made
for
some
me.
main events.
Yeah. And lots of night shows that paid.
Well, yeah, lots of night
lots
shows.
Of paid. Yep.
Yeah, so much money. I can't believe I made so much money. Oh wait,
You're
Oops.
retired, bro.
Oops.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm totally retired.
bought 2 houses.
I'm living the high life.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
Come on, bro.
don't mind me. I can't buy a new goddamn truck.
Nope.
But choices. You make choices.
Exactly. All right.
Anyway, yeah.
Well, hey,
Good show.
Another one in the books.
Yeah, I like
Appreciate-
Luke. I hadn't heard much about the guy, but he
Yeah,
was, he
like
was a
I
good
said,
story.
I didn't know
Yeah.
tons about him either. I hit him up a couple weeks ago. He got back to me, and then we had a little missed opportunity. And then, yeah, he said he was good to do it today. Which
Yeah.
today I'll uncover the third layer. It is actually Friday night, like 7. It's probably 9 now or whatever. I don't know. I don't have a clock in front of me, but it's like Saturday
9:30
4
p.m.
o'clock New Zealand time. So yeah, he's just kind of
It's like 6:30 there
okay
now.
Yeah, now, yeah. But 4 in the beginning.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, Friday
He's just
afternoon.
getting
He's getting ready to get partying.
No, Saturday. It's Saturday his time.
Oh, it is
It's 20
Saturday,
Yeah.
right.
So it's
21
Friday
hours
for
ahead.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
Saturday for him. He's just
Saturday.
getting his Saturday night going probably.
Yeah,
His
getting
friends
ready to
over, firing it up,
throw down.
making it snow. Who knows?
Making it
Allegedly.
snow.
We-
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Who knows?
Thanks for listening. I'm
Appreciate
gonna keep this rambler from rambling anymore.
Shut me up, Crater. Put your... Oh, hang on.
Oh, what? I'm going to hit it.
I was going to tell him why you could shut me up.
Oh, yeah, we don't. We're going to go ahead and kill that one.